We had a couple people on the panel from law departments as well as the general counsel of the ACC. Representing the small law department was Jim Sullivan from FMC Technologies. We also had Molly Dodge, who's from Capital One, much larger law department. And they talked a lot about how important it is to get all of your data in one place if you want to produce metrics about the value that your company is adding to your company. And the obvious way to do that is with an e-billing system, because you don't have to rekey information in. All that information is unlocked from your bills and becomes immediately available. They also had some great stories to tell about what happened once they started getting the data in, some things that they were surprised about, some things that reinforced behavior. But the best thing was that they could go to management meetings now, and instead of having a yellow pad of paper that had 2 or 3 items on it, they could actually come with bar graphs and pie charts, the kind of metrics that other managers were showing up at these meetings with. They didn't feel like they were a weak link in the chain, that the law department was carrying its fair share. They also talked about how they could use these metrics over time to identify opportunities for improving performance, not only in the law department, but at business units. They were starting to see things like business units that maybe had an inordinate number of employment claims, which is an opportunity for the law department to go in and do some training so that they could get those things taken care of before they became actual claims or cases. A lot of things came out once they were able to see the entire legal landscape. And I guess the final thing that was really exciting, they talked about how much better it is to have actual live data for benchmarking coming out of the transactions and the work that's being done, rather than having to rely on surveys. So when they were looking at how their law department was doing compared to their peers in other law departments, they had been relying on surveys, and it was a little bit tough because somebody said surveys can be like liar's poker. You know, people are kind of guessing about what they're saying in response to survey questionnaires. Maybe they're making things up. But when you're using live data right out of the bills and budgets and work that's being done, there's no opportunity to fudge that. And they're really excited to get the data that Serengeti and other systems are now able to provide, where you're aggregating that data and you can look and see whether or not the hourly rates you're paying are higher or lower than what your peers are paying, whether a law firm that's asked for an increase is in the 95th percentile or the 5th percentile, whether the staffing models that you're using are different from what your peers are using on projects. So they're really excited to get their hands on the benchmarking data that's coming out of Serengeti Intelligence, because it's going to allow them to see whether or not they in fact are doing a great job or just a so-so job for their company, and look for opportunities where they can do better.